Evening and welcome to another edition of our Facebook Live here from the UZIN campus. Doing it slightly different tonight from people that have tuned in before. No practical demos, no screaming machines making a noise or anything like that. I've brought one of my good friends and colleagues from the industry along tonight who's joined us for a discussion on the industry in general and certainly in regards to what Altro do in regards to safety flooring and site stuff, site conditions and so on. So this is
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore.
James Bond, you can call me whatever you want, but don't call me late for breakfast.
And don't call him on his phone tonight because he has to have the James Bond ringtone too. Okay. Yes, so tonight's all about discussions on the flooring industry, and we're going to give it you really as it should be. Okay, and stick to that. But we want some questions from you guys, and we'll do our best to answer them as we go through the evening. And obviously, there's going to be a giveaway at the end, so please stay in touch. The more questions you can throw in, hopefully, the more that we can answer. Hopefully, you won't catch us out, and we go from there. So, Roger, sorry.
Call me Roger, mate. I've known you a few years.
Too long, yeah. You'll be retiring soon.
Oh.
So, in regards to site conditions, well, not so much site conditions, but subfloors. We'll talk a little bit about your new innovations going forward. But in regards to standard site conditions, when we turn out on subfloors, sorry, in regards to when we start out on sites, you turn up subfloor. You might be having a problem with your flooring. We have problems with some people do with our stuff as well. What's the common things that you suffer with in regards to subfloor issues?
The worst thing, every floor layer will probably agree, will be dampness. That's the worst. That's a floor layer's enemy. It's either dampness, knowledge of what the subfloor is as well. Anhydrates, A lot of floor layers are scared of anhydrates. They don't understand exactly what they mean, what they do, how to treat them, what can go on them. That's where you guys come into it.
And I think you're absolutely spot on there in regards to, and there are a number of contractors, there's a number of complaints I've been to, and I'm sure you guys have been in the same boat, where you turn up and you talk to a contractor and you go, you do know this is an anhydrite calcium sulfate screed? No, never heard of one of them before. And, you know, there is the ability now to come on training. You know, all manufacturers are doing training and educating you on these type of substrates. So, you know, if you've never heard of these floors before, you want to learn more, then the only way you're going to find out more about them is come on some training. But yeah, I totally agree. What's one of the common failures with anhydrites then you get?
Just mainly subfloor preparation. Yeah. If they don't understand what an anhydrate is, then they're just latexing over the floor, and then our floor's laid over the top. The common thing, everybody's looking at the Altro flooring and then they're going, there's a problem with the Altro flooring, but it's not. It's whatever is underneath, you know.
It's the same for us, you know. We always get blamed. If it's not the vinyl's fault, if it's not your fault because it's not your vinyl, then it comes back to us. Yeah, but when you dig down to stuff like that, it's not always, don't get me wrong, but it can be associated with the base. And as we all know, with calcium sulfate or anhydrites, whatever you want to call them, first port of call is remove that latence.
Yes, definitely.
And then we start from there. Then we start thinking about moisture testing and then moving forward with the correct products. We're very lucky here at UZIN that we can deal with anhydrite screeds with underfloor heating or without underfloor heating if they're damp, to overcome them problems for you. So if you're ever in that got them issues, then give us a call and we'll talk you through our recommendations for dealing with them. We go back to the dampness. Yeah, we're in 2024 now. Yeah, modern technologies and all that. And I'm sure you'll agree with me. Are you still as shocked as I am the amount of contractors that don't own moisture meters?
Yes, very.
I don't know how they tell if the floor is dry or wet. Now, I've got some good contractors out there now that tell me they just DPM anyway. Yeah, because of the current way UK buildings are done. They know they're not going to be dried. But there's still a lot of people out there that just go for it.
What we get a lot of contractors when I go in and say there's a damp issue, they quite often say, how can the floor be damp? You know, these tiles have been down forever, you know, or even in a commercial kitchen, a typical one, commercial kitchen where you've got ceramic tiles, they're down on the floor, they've been there for years, and then they just lay a flooring over the top, they put a screed down, lay a flooring over the top, and then there's a damp issue. Because, you know, the moisture breathes through the grout and through most of the tiles.
One of the things that we obviously advocate here, and we talk about it quite a lot, that near enough everything has a moisture vapor transmission rate. So just because you've got a tile on the floor doesn't mean it's going to stop the moisture coming through. And so on. But yeah, that's a very good point you've raised there, because we get a lot of people that go, well, because that floor's been down for 60 years, it must be dry.
It must be dry.
And they don't realise that the chances are that is actually on what we class as a direct to earth, rising damp floor. So yeah, you're right. Just in regards to moisture, so we go to a site, you fitted your you fitted your vinyl safety flooring on the top. What's the first signs it could be a moisture issue?
Normally bubbles in the floor. There's quite a few issues with me. When I walk on site, I can smell if there's a damp issue. Some people can, some people can't, but it's normally, you know, that there's a damp issue. There's bubbles about everywhere on the floor.
Please tell me you're not one of these contractors that go in and go, smells a bit damp in here.
No, I'm not.
But we've seen it. Yeah, yes. I've certainly seen it. I've never done it, but I've seen it. Yeah. Okay. Because what reading's that? Yeah. And again, on that, it's important, guys, that you do get yourself. And I'm not here to sell moisture. No, I'm technically not here to sell moisture meters, even though I'm going to get shot for that one. But get yourself a moisture meter without upsetting Lidl, but try not to buy the one from there. Okay. Right. So bubbling is one of the things. Now, I don't know whether you guys have ever heard of this, but it's something that was taught to me many years ago. Sometimes you go to a job you've got bubbles in the corridors. Let's just give it a case. So it's in your safety flooring. So to do a moisture test on that floor, we've either got to drill and plug it, or we've got to cut a bit of vinyl out and put a box down and come back. Little trick that I was taught years ago, we'll pass it on to the contractors. You turn up, Trimex or a protometer, get your probe, quickly put a little slice in your bubble, stick that probe in and tape it up to seal that in. Leave that for half an hour and connect it to your meter. That's acting as the box would have been that you've waited 72 hours. It's a good, quick indication of how to tell if it's a moisture issue. So something to pass on to contractors. If you've ever got them issues, it's a quick way of telling if it could be moisture related.
That's a very good tip, Steve.
So obviously bubbles. Anything else?
Can't think off the top of my head.
No.
I'm sure you've had more dealings with.
One of the things that we tend to find as well is sometimes if you look at where the joints are around the edge of the room, you can see like where the adhesive started to emulsify, so you're getting like white liquidy stains. Yeah, that's another good sign as well.
Emulsifying.
Yeah, and again, you know, guys, for anybody that doesn't currently do some safety flooring, or you're thinking of going in that world, as you say, and Roger will back me up here, it's important that we test for moisture. We'll talk about subfloors a bit more in a minute, but moisture is one of the big ones. But don't be frightened to ask. If you're not sure, you know, we offer a service. These guys offer a service. Well, we'll come out and support you. We carry out moisture testing. So the sales guys all carry moisture meters. Yeah, you're not on your own. Just ask that question, and then we can rule out the moisture problem. Or, if it's the ideal, we'll just put a DPM in place, and you haven't got to worry about that. In regards to I have to be careful how I say this, but we tend to get floors now that aren't, well, that they're very rarely good enough to lay on anymore. When I started in this industry, you could near enough scrape off the floor, give it a sweep off, and you could lay direct to that floor. Yeah. Are you finding that? Yeah, that
you can't. We would always recommend that you put latex down.
Yeah,
definitely. There's never a floor out there that you can really go over. If you're ripping up old vinyl, 9 times out of 10 you've got adhesive residue, or the old latex is coming up as well. So you're definitely going to need to latex. That's what we would always recommend.
Yeah, and I think just to take out any shape in the floor.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things to remember if anybody's out there that's venturing into this world of safety flooring and bonding vinyl sheets direct to substrates. As soon as you bond them to the floor, it will show any imperfection.
Definitely.
And it can be the size of a pinhead, and it'll look like a mountain on the surface of your floor. So yeah, so they're the types of things that we need to think about in regards to starting off. That's a bit of a starting point. Check for moisture, look at the subfloors. One of the things that I always did when we tell this to people when they come on training, whenever I went on a job, I'd always run a straight edge across the floor. Because if I'm going to put a smoothing and leveling compound down, unless I run a straight edge across the floor, I don't know if I need a bit extra there, a bit more here, or how bad the floor is in general. So I always used to do that, and it just gave me an idea where the extra bits were needed, or am I just following the line of the floor? So that was a little tip that was good to me. So in regards to that one, that's good. Any questions coming in? No? Have we got one person tuned in? That one person could be lucky tonight and win a prize. Right. So coupled with the subfloor side of it, unfortunately we're getting to that time of year again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got off the plane last week in Liverpool, and I can tell you it was cold. Yeah. So it's getting colder. Site conditions are going to get colder and stuff like that. How can we give the best advice for contractors trying to fit floors in them environments? And I'm probably not going to like what we're going to say, but then if you don't adhere to that, that's when you're going to get the issues.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
They must acclimatise the vinyl. Every flooring manufacturer always says the flooring must be acclimatised. I know a lot of floor layers, they go to the office first, they pick the vinyl up in the morning, they take it to site. There's not always, that chance. But if you do get the chance, it's always best to acclimatise it. If you don't, you will have issues.
What about if I store it in a container on site and just go and select it in the morning? Well, it's on site.
I've worked in that case scenario, and then you go cut the material up, take it into the room that you're going to lay it, and bear in mind there's going to be quite a bit of prep work before you are installing the vinyl. So get it into the room, get it acclimatised to the room, try and get some heat in there, if you can.
Yeah, and we'll talk about heat in a minute, but again, acclimatising is very, very, very important.
It is important.
And it's overlooked. It really is. And again, you might say we were sort of having a bit of a laugh about it to ourselves, but it really isn't funny in regards to what the pains you're going to get later on from not doing that.
Yep.
So think about it when you're on these jobs. What's the sort of ideal temperatures we should be fitting in?
Every flooring manufacturer would recommend between 18 and 27 degrees is the ideal temperature. I would say between 18 and 20 is a good temperature that you can be installing, but that's what we're looking at.
And that's a good thing, actually. Excuse me. We all think about being cold. Now, you're very fortunate to be European technical manager, so you're traveling all over the world. There must be instances where sometimes it's the opposite way. It's too hot to fit it. And then I'm presuming you're telling people to put it in dark areas, cold areas to try and chill it down a little bit. Or get that temperature.
Or just getting some circulation. Just getting the air circulated. But it's more about not the air temperature, but the slab.
Yeah.
It's what the concrete is.
And that is overlooked a lot. Yeah. People will have a thermometer in the room. They'll be checking the air temperature, the temperature in the room, but nobody ever thinks to measure the slab.
Yeah.
And we get that sometimes with our smoothing compounds. Middle of summer, conservatory, somebody tips a compound on the floor, it's gone like that. Middle of winter, they're on the phone, it's not drying. They don't think that slab could be -3. Yeah, or whatever. So yeah, so it's, and again, referring to it, I've got them here, but meters like this, certainly the Tramex, switch it on, you just put the buttons down on the floor and it'll actually give you the temperature of the slab. Yeah. Okay, so it's a great little bit of kit in regards to that. The others will do similar, but that's just an easy way of doing that. So 18 to 27. So what's the best way of getting that heat in? Gas blowers?
Definitely not gas blowers.
What's wrong with gas blowers?
They'll introduce moisture into the air. So for those of you that have ever had gas or fires or anything like that going in your house, do you often see moisture running down the windows? That's the sort of thing that you'll have on the walls and on the floors. So it just introduced more moisture into the air using gas. So you should be using dry heat, electric heat.
Yeah, like the red rat.
Red rats. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And again, that's very important. And the amount of sites I go on, they have now ventured to put in the actual machine outside and the tubes coming in, but it's still introducing moisture into the air. But yeah, guys, think about this time of year and site conditions for all manufacturers, whether it's subfloor, whether it's vinyl, whether it's LVTs you're doing. Think about having the correct site conditions. But let's go back to this acclimatization, because I've just picked up on something. Let's say I hadn't acclimatized the floor and I went with it because I'm getting pressure put on me. I've got to finish the job.
As you always do.
Yeah. Been in that world. What issues does that lead to? Or what can it lead to?
It can lead to the material being under a lot of stress and shrinking. Sometimes if you go onto site, you might see a typical vinyl that's been laying on the floor with a nice perfect gap all the way around, like it's been fitted absolutely 5 millimeters too small everywhere. That is a typical, installation.
That's not because they templated it wrong then, no?
No.
Yeah.
Template, what's that?
That's what people think silicon's for.
I know.
Yeah.
A lot of people do think that. They do
even down the joint.
Yeah. Leave a gap, that's for the silicon.
No, sorry guys. Never do that. Oh, yeah, so it can. And do you know, one of the other things for me is, and again, I don't know whether you agree with me or not, but it's harder to work with. You're putting more pressure on the knife. That can lead to maybe an accident, or an injury. So yeah, so think about that as well. That's my view. So let's think about fitting a floor. So we've got the right temperature. Everything's good in our world. We've got 18.5. Freezing in here. They made me turn the heating off because it's noisy. So we got the right temperature. We're ready to fit our floor. Adhesive. Okay. And it is a bit of a minefield now for contractors to choose adhesives to fit floors. Yeah. Okay. So something that niggles me, and I'm sure people that have been on my training, certainly when we do wet room installation courses and something like that, it does niggle me quite a lot in regards to there are still a lot of fitters out there doing wet rooms where there's physical water going to be sitting on the floor using acrylic adhesive on the bases. Yeah,
we still get that a lot. We try, when we do the Altro training schools, we try and drum through to everybody that a wet area must have an epoxy or a 2-component glue. But so many times they say, oh yeah, but it comes in a pot and you've got to mix A with B. I haven't got that time. I've got a tub of 2000S on the van and I'm going to use that, and it doesn't work. And I say to them, can you guarantee 100% your welds are not going to fail? And they go, well, I don't know. I said, well, I can't guarantee that my welds are not going to fail. So can you honestly say that? Because if you can, carry on using acrylic adhesive. Nobody can, because they can't.
No, it can't.
That's why we always say you've got to use a 2-component.
I know this might be a daft question. Is there a way of testing the welds that they are actually watertight?
There is, we've in Scandinavia, they have got a tool that they actually test welds, and you have to do tests and everything out there. They test every weld. We don't really use that over here, but I think it should be a test that we could do.
Again, this is me being a bit sad. It'd be interesting to know what the failure rate was on them welds, because I know, you know, I like to think I'm pretty good at welding, but I wouldn't like to say it's 100%.
Yeah. Not every weld that you do.
Yeah,
you can probably say a few of them, but every weld has got to be 100%. Otherwise, moisture's going to get in, attack the water-based glue with water, which is just going to emulsify. And then it's just sitting there. And then it starts to smell, and then you get the complaints, you get the white glue coming up through the joints, and then you're having loads of problems.
And even though you've dissed my 2000S, okay, all right?
Well, it could have been any acrylic.
Okay.
But I'm here, so why not?
Thanks. I'm not sure if you know this, but cheers, we actually do. Yeah, cheers, mate. Even though you've done that, you might be aware, I'm sure you are really aware of this, but we do a single component product now. You don't have to mix the two parts together that'll do everything.
68T?
The 68.
See, I know it, so I've done my own work.
68T, okay. T's more for walls, but 68 is for the floor. Yeah. Brilliant, okay. I'll let you off that one then. But we've laughed about it. But if we're doing a corridor in a school, hospital, we can use 2000S.
Yes, definitely.
That type of adhesive. Yeah. So it's just in them wet room areas, just have a think about the adhesive you're using. Now, I'm going to throw you one that's not on our list here now. We're talking about wet rooms again. A lot of times you go into a wet room, certainly if there's a joint in a wet room, let's not talk about daft places for joints, but when you see a joint in a wet room, sometimes you see it gapping on the joint, the welds pulled apart or the welds come out. And I'm honestly a believer that it's about the grooving.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to just quickly touch on really how we should be thinking about grooving? If I'm not putting you on the spot too much.
No, that's fine. It's not only about the grooving. It's about every manufacturer makes their material wider than 2 meters to allow for the excess to be cut off. You must cut the excess off. Yeah, the joints must be overlapped and cut through, so as you've got good clean joints, because the joints could be like this, touch and whatever. They want to be dead straight, nice and tight. Then you introduce by grooving. The grooving should be about 70–75% of the material, not all the way through. So it's touching at the bottom, and then you weld, and that's the perfect weld.
And I think you're right. I think there's a comprehension in that. Sometimes somebody thinks they leave a gap.
Yeah,
they'll
gap
just
building.
catch both sides, even if they've trimmed them back, so they've got like virgin material. They still think by leaving a gap they can weld, and it shouldn't be. It should be almost tight.
That is a common thing within the business. Gap welding is even a word.
Yeah.
They say, oh, I've gap welded that. Well, that isn't even a thing. So
just in regards to trimming off that excess off the vinyls, I'm presuming people would tend to use straight edge and a knife.
Yeah, you can use straight edge and a knife, but as you know, Wolf being part of
that's where I was going. That's
where
I was going.
You was.
Yeah. Wolf do an actual machine called the green cut. If you set it up, you can literally hook it on the edge of the vinyl and just run it down in one big strip, and it takes.
John will be pleased you mentioned that.
Yeah, he will. He'll be pleased. Yeah. And again, for anybody that wants to see that tool being demonstrated, just get in touch or come on one of the training. We can show you that. Yeah, and I'm sure there's videos online. Absolute great bit of kit for doing that.
It is.
Okay, once you get used to setting it up. But it's pretty straightforward, and there's videos for showing you that. So that's good. A question that we didn't have on the list that we've answered. So we've talked about bonding down. We've talked about site conditions as such and subfloor types. So, not the best topic in the world for me. But you guys seem to be developing a lot of this adhesive-free flooring. Is that how you actually call it?
Yes.
That doesn't help, does it?
Why not? But the thing is, all it is adhesive free, but we're still going to be reliant on you guys to get the subfloor dead flat and level.
Go for that, yeah. What's the advantages?
There's quite a lot of advantages. As everybody knows, we're moving into the sustainability world. It's very sustainable, it's recyclable. So it can be laid, it's really quick, and then it can be taken back up, recycled, used again. The good thing about it is it leaves the subfloor as you find it. So it's good like in an area like we're in now, where the subfloor is really good. You don't want to damage it, so you could lay our vinyl over the top, and it keeps the subfloor in good condition.
I'm obviously, and you're right. I am right in saying that if you get a vinyl with adhesive on the back from when you've uplifted it, very, very difficult to recycle.
Yes, you can't.
And I know you guys are at the forefront of recycling.
Yeah, record floor.
Yeah. So how's that scheme going? It's
going really well. As we started the scheme with Polyfloor many years ago, and it's going really, really well. Really well.
Good. But don't forget, guys, you've still got to get the floor right. No, but
that is
when
true.
we say adhesive free, what about the joints? Because I'm of the age and experience that you can't weld a joint that's not bonded.
No, you're dead right. So we've got a tape that we actually give away when you buy a roll. You actually get 2 rolls of tape with it. It's a double-sided tape, and that goes, as you can see, the width of it is 75 mil, and that goes down the center of the joint, so the joint is stuck. We also recommend that you put this around the perimeter of the room as well for ease of installation.
In case you cut it in a bit tight.
What we would always recommend is that you actually lay the room and you treat the vinyl like you would a cushion floor. So you just cut the floor in first, and then you peel this up and then just let it relax. Yeah. Never pull the tape off and then push it into it, because it will bubble.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That. So it's pretty straightforward. What about the tape? Does the tape on the back of the vinyl, or does it stay on the floor?
It stays on the floor, but it's double-sided, so it just holds the vinyl into place. That's all it's for. It's for ease of installation, really.
So it's another alternative out there.
Yeah.
In regards to that. Just on tapes and adhesives and so on, we're sort of going back a little bit step now to our wet rooms, but you've just made me think of something. In regards to wet rooms now, in my day, fitting a wet room, the co-former, the capping strip, and certainly the bit that went up on the wall was all done with a solvent-based, I have to be careful here,
Yes.
with a solvent-based adhesive, okay. What's your view on that now?
Solvent-based adhesives are good, but they are being phased out because of the fumes and everything else that's in them.
We don't manufacture one now.
No, I think it's going. When you work in a hospital, a lot of hospitals are now banning, the use of a two-component, a two-part glue. So everybody's looking at a water-based glue to go around the walls, which is actually what we use in the training school. We use your WK222 in our training school for the capping and coving courses, which works really well.
How are you finding your attendees' perception of using that?
When they first come in, they look at it and they go, "Oh, this is going to take time to go off," and things like that. And we just say, yes, it does take time, but can you smell anything? No, you can't smell anything. And you just work with it and it works.
Yeah.
We say to them, if you put too much glue on, it takes too long. So you just apply it with the roller and it works. Just on that note, obviously we manufacture that WK222, absolutely great adhesive. You just take the lid off it, spread it on both parts, as Roger says, let it go off, put the two sides together. But guys, don't forget, if you're on a job and you haven't got any WK222, 2000S can be used for that as well. As long as you let it go right off. You can use 2000S for a lot, Fine, all right, okay. You've asked for it, all right? So it can be used for that. We also do tapes, and we need to get you guys switched onto tapes because it's clean. You haven't got to paint stuff on. You haven't got to wait for two sides to dry. You just peel the back off. But then, are you doing yourself out of adhesive sales? See, it works both ways.
Okay. No, because you still need that. You can't. You technically, you can tape the whole floor because we do tapes for that as well. But we would tend to spread the floor. Yeah. So our tape is just for the cap and cove. But again, if you want more information on any of the products in regards to the Altro products or our products, just drop us a message. I believe there's a question. I'm getting worried now.
So Mike commented that.
Buy a good one.
I would say yes, Mike, and thanks for calling in, Mike.
I don't know him, do you?
No, I don't know him either. Yes, always make sure the floor's not dusty and to prime the floor.
Yeah, and the walls as well. Something like our 360 plus. If you've got a dusty plastered wall or whatever, just run a bit down the wall. But guys, just be careful using PVA for one.
Yeah.
Because if you do get a moisture issue or the walls technically should be dry, but if there's any moisture anywhere, that PVA can wet itself back out and it could cause you issues. So using something like our 360 plus or our P360 plus, you can paint that on. Moisture doesn't affect that product, and it's ideal for that area. So hopefully that's helped Mike out with this question.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's good.
Does that mean Mike wins a t-shirt?
No. He's probably
That's the only reason he's done it.
He's probably got Harry. No comment. Yeah. Right. So one of the, certainly in domestic market, but more so in the commercial as well now, we all know LVT is growing. You guys have brought out an LVT.
Yes,
and I'm sure you won't mind me saying it. It's a bit weird.
I know. I knew you was going to say that.
I actually like it. I was lucky enough to get my hand on a few spare boxes and did my daughter's lounge with it, and it's really nice. Hope that's not going to get me this sack. But I think anybody out there, when you talk about LVTs, if you can see it, it is a little bit weird. Yeah.
I think it's great. Now, I'll be honest with you. When Altro first said they was launching an LVT, I thought, oh my God, we are so late to the market. We are so late. But then when I saw the LVT and I felt the LVT, I thought, wow, like that. But like a lot of contractors that I talk to, they say, feels cheap.
I wouldn't have said that, but yeah, go on.
But it's not. It's a commercial tile. And you get a 10-year warranty with it. And
right.
You also get the Altro backing. But the main thing I love about it is the difference. It's the backing. You see the felt backing on the back. This is one of the best things about it, because with most LVTs, for those of you that do fit LVTs, you'll spread the glue on the floor. You have to wait for the glue to tack off. Once the glue has tacked off, then you can start laying the tiles, because when you're laying the tiles, you're actually on the tiles and they mustn't move. Now with our tiles, because of the unique felt backing, we recommend that it's a wet set. So you go into the glue as soon as it's wet. You must go into it. And everybody goes, oh, but they're going to slide. No, they don't. They do not slide. As you know, if you've already fitted some.
Yeah, they don't.
And you get on them and you working straight away. So there's no downtime. That is one of the real benefits to it.
Wet set, 2000S?
Yes, definitely 2000S.
Almost got you. Almost got you. Okay. And for everybody out there, and it is on the label, we call 2000S a pressure sensitive, but guys, it can be used as a wet set or semi-wet set. So, and we have got other adhesives available. My favourite for fitting that is KE66.
66,
which is a total wet adhesive. But yeah, it goes down lovely. For me, when you're walking on it, you don't get that clip cloppy sound. You've seen it almost gives you as if you've got a bit of comfort underfoot. I've got some guys that work for us. They're going to be fitting a bit of this tomorrow. Any tips for them?
Yeah, get someone in that can fit them.
I hope they're not tuned in now.
But they're also, we also do lots of different sizes. This is one of the smaller ones, the 500s. We do a metre tile, and we also do a 2 metre tile.
Do you?
Yeah, which is over there. Which I'll put my neck on the line and say I don't think there's any other LVT manufacturers that actually do a 2 metre long LVT tile by 200 wide.
Not sure about that.
So in a nice big area, you can really get some meterage down.
Yeah. And again, suitable for commercial areas.
Yes.
High traffic areas.
You've got a micro bevel on the edge as well. So, and what I like about them is the matte finish. They do look very realistic, you know, compared with some of them that are on the market.
Now, safety flooring's reasonably straightforward. You get a grey, you get a red, you get a whatever colour you want. But when it comes to LVTs, certainly in domestics, people, my wife is an absolute nightmare. Okay. Oh, she's not tuned in. When it comes to choosing colours, types, styles, do you guys offer swatches, stuff like?
We've actually got one here that we made earlier.
I actually wasn't expecting that. I wonder what that was.
As you can see, there is quite a big range.
Right. Mrs. Davies, if you tuned in, we've just done our hallway at home. Well, we've just done our hallway and our toilet out. So which colour would you like? Yeah? All right. You're busy. You're free one weekend.
Yeah. I'm sure you don't need it, Steve.
So that's quite handy, yeah, because it is about the colour and the type and fitting your decor style. So that's good. That's good.
We tend to not call these LVTs. We call them modular flooring.
Okay.
Reason for that is because all the different sizes go together. Like 2 500s make a metre, 2 metres make 2 metres, and so on. 4 of them make. So they can all be put together and you can make loads of different designs.
Did you know I wasn't very good at maths in school?
That's why it makes it nice and easy. Even our box sizes are made nice and easy. You know, 5
Yeah,
meters.
I was going to say you seem to have more in a box of yours,
Yeah.
definitely. And then they seem lighter to carry. Cool. And you're doing okay with it?
Yes, we're doing
Yeah.
really well.
Good. I like to say, for somebody that's fitted it, not because these guys are here, but for somebody who's fitted it, I enjoyed fitting it because it was easy. It cuts really easy. And exactly what you say, you can just get on it instantly.
I like something you mentioned earlier. You know, you mentioned about when you're walking on it, it's quite dense. Because of the backing as well, it's also got a 14 dB rating.
Okay.
Which most LVTs don't have any dB rating.
And certainly on some of these jobs now, certainly apartments and stuff like that, they're looking for them dB ratings.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So it ticks boxes in that way. Oh, good, good. One of the things I was going to ask, and I missed it earlier on, a couple of things. Safety flooring. I'll go back, a lot of us in the industry, if the floor's got a little bit of a speckle in it, sometimes yeah, that's a safety flooring. Is that the correct way to look at it?
No.
What makes a safety floor a safety floor? That's what I'm...
Right, this is what a lot of people think. Everybody thinks one floor, it fits all, but it's not. We do test rating, because I don't know if you know, but Altro invented safety flooring.
No, I didn't know that.
Back in the time, in 1947 was the first safety floor that was on the floor, and that was invented by Altro.
Were you in the factory at the time?
I actually fitted it.
You set yourself up for that one.
I know.
Was Mike helping you?
Mike was helping me, yeah.
Oh no, you were Mike's apprentice, weren't you? Sorry, we've only had half a bottle.
Yeah, but it's all about a PTV rating.
Pardon?
A PTV rating.
Okay.
This is pendulum test value.
Okay.
Which is tested with a foot that comes down, and it tests how the resistance of the back of the foot. And to be a safety flooring, it has to have a PT value of 36 plus. So if it's like 24, it's not.
Okay.
Or 28 or 30, it's not. Anything 36 or above is. Now, Altro tests their floors wet, because some floors are tested dry. Like a typical thing that we do is we test a ceramic tile. You get a ceramic tile, it's tested dry, 36, 38, fine, safe. Spray water on it and it drops down to 20, 22, so it's unsafe. Our floors are all tested wet, and they are 36.
All of them are 36.
Above.
And above.
Some of them are more, because in our commercial kitchens, you know, it needs to be safer.
I might be putting you on the spot. So a commercial kitchen needs to be a higher... What does that just mean? More additive in it? Whatever you use to make it
with
more
our commercial kitchens, it is a thicker flooring as well.
Yeah.
It's a 3mm.
Yeah.
It's called K30.
I know, I hate this stuff.
Why? It's great stuff.
We used to have one thicker than that, didn't we?
We do. We still have the Atlas, which is the the 4mm,
Yes.
which is it's still the same. But going back to the kitchen, the commercial kitchen, it's tested at about 45, because it has to deal with grease, you know, and other things. It's not only soaps and things like that. You've got grease, flour, and things like that you get in kitchens. But again, something new that we've just invented while we're into the commercial kitchens is our adhesive-free flooring. So we do an adhesive-free in the commercial kitchens, which is very, very new that we've just invented. Well, we've been trialing it for quite a few years, and it's new to the Altro brand this year.
You're trying to get me the sack.
No.
Right. In regards to, okay, I'm going off piece a little bit, but back to, you've just made me think, back to wet rooms, non-slip. There's quite a few wet rooms I've been in, and even recently, that have just got a vinyl on the floor, like a traditional safety floor with what I termed a little bit of carbon under in it. That's not suitable, and I am right in saying that, for a wet room floor that's going to have water standing on it.
We've got certain ranges. Altro do Aquarius and Pisces ranges, which are specialist areas for wet rooms, specialist vinyls for specialist areas. So this is what a lot of people, as you said earlier, a lot of people think, a safety flooring is a safety flooring, but it's not. So just be careful, what you guys are putting down. It's not always the right flooring for the right areas.
I think, again, like something like Aquarius or Pisces type of products, you look at them, actually, if you actually physically look at it without touching it, sometimes, there's no black speckles in it as such, so is that a safety flooring? But it's only when you touch it and feel that texture you guys have developed for that surface, you suddenly read. Right. Now, in my day, we used to fit a lot of the one with the knobbles in. Come on.
Marine.
Marine. We used to fit a lot of that. But I've noticed some of these wet room areas now, you're going away from that.
Yeah, well, with the marine is we brought out the marine for them sort of wet areas, but what we found throughout the years was the marine floor became a little bit unsafe for nursing homes, because it's great for barefoot, because you can imagine the bobbles are sticking up and the barefoot on it, it takes into it. But if you've got like a croc, like all carers wear, the croc is just sitting on the bobbles.
All right, yeah,
so
makes
it
sense.
became a little bit unsafe for carers, not for the patient, but for the carers.
All right.
So we've moved away from that, and we've said that the marine can go around swimming pools and in barefoot areas, but in shower areas, it's our Pisces or our Aquarius.
We go on the marine, technical guy, work for Altro. When you're cutting it, I just stop cutting the knobbles. There must be a trick. There must be a trick.
There is a little tool that we do that goes down the middle, but it's
there's a knack to that.
There is a knack.
There's a knack to that one. Yeah, definitely. So, any more questions?
Come on, guys. Is there no one out there? Is there somebody alive?
My wife's not even said what colour she wants. No.
No. Well, that was worth it.
Yeah, it's worth a try, wasn't it? Right. So, what we're going to do now is we always do a giveaway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to do a giveaway.
I'll do a few tonight. I've got a few spare t-shirts knocking around. So, what we'll do for giving away a t-shirt tonight, what we'll do is we'll just get you to text in. I think if you text in, give us a bit of feedback what you thought about tonight, and what we'll do is we'll put all your names in a hat. I can find probably 10 t-shirts, maybe a few more. If you want to do that, and we'll sort you out one of these t-shirts.
Don't forget to text in your size.
I didn't say they could have a size. Yeah, one size fits all.
Yeah.
Look, I always get the extra large, and the wife washes it. Yeah, then it fits. I was waiting for you to say it gets too tight.
I wasn't going to say nothing.
So we'll do that. So get logging in. Again, don't worry if you're not watching live tonight. Yeah, we'll leave it live for a couple of weeks before we do the draw. So comment and give some feedback what you thought tonight. And on that, just don't forget, both Altro and ourselves, we do training. And we do a lot of joint training as well. So if you want to book yourself on, you want to learn more about subfloors and how to deal with them, or even the correct adhesives to use in the right locations, please log on to our website and get yourself booked on a course. Alternatively, if you want to learn more about fitting wet rooms and stuff like that, Altro have got a lovely training school down in Letchworth. Yeah, a great facility. And the good thing about there, I don't know, well, I might be overstepping the market. Do you still do a factory tour?
Yes.
Because one of the things that I really enjoyed last time I went down, and it wasn't that long ago, was getting taken around the factory and just watching. We've seen the pendulum test, we've seen it being made. But what fascinated me more was the way you cut out the transport products,
Yeah.
and it's like, wow, designed to fit. Yeah. If only we could send you a template from the bathroom. Yeah.
How big's your bathroom?
But yeah, no, absolutely fantastic. So these guys, and again, we do joint training together. So Roger or one of his colleagues comes in, and we do joint training, and we're looking to grow that next year as well.
Yes.
So again, look at either ours or the Altro website and get more information on that. Again, any of the products that we've touched on tonight, whether it's ensemble, which is their LVT, no, their modular flooring, okay, or safety flooring. Oh, on that note, do you guys now do smooth vinyl?
We do smooth vinyls from Germany.
I suppose that's
German branch.
adhesive free as well, is it?
Yeah, it's called contractor, but there are ones that does use glue.
All right.
Being in Germany, they do use 2000S on a lot of it.
Ace.
Is that the right thing to say?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's a good job our MD hasn't got Facebook. Getting totally off it because we're going to answer just on the one. White Rock.
Yep.
I'm a big advocate of White Rock. I had the pleasure to be trained in doing it, and I've done a couple of jobs myself, and I think it's absolutely fantastic when you've done it. You've made such a transformation. You know, for somebody that's done a bit of tiling as well in his day for the company I work for, I wouldn't have tiles again if it was me. I would have plastic on the walls. How are you finding them courses getting taken off? Because we know you guys do courses on that.
Yes, yeah, they're really good as well. Because again, Altro invented White Rock 44 years ago or 45 years ago. It's been out there a long time. It's been, you know, really good. The courses are absolutely fantastic.
And again, if you just want to learn something different that's got similar skills when you're fitting floors in regards to scribing and marking in, it's so rewarding when you've done it. If you do a full room, everything's done, floor as well. It is so rewarding, and it just makes such a transformation.
And what you got to remember, for every one floor, there's 4 walls.
Never thought about that. Yeah, interesting.
There's a lot more work on the walls.
Yeah, missed the opportunity there, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
And am I right in saying, I might be wrong, it's not just plain now, you can do patterns?
We do loads of different colours. Obviously it's White Rock because white was the first colour that come out. Then we've got a satins, which is like, you know, there's quite a few colours, and then we've got the top of the range, which is chameleon, which is a high gloss. But we have to move with the times, and talking to architects and things like that, they still like the tile sort of shapes, but they don't want tiles. So we've got new range Tegulus, which looks like tiles, but is actually a sheet.
Cool, interesting.
So we're playing around with different things, and we're open to ideas.
What do you do? You got my mind thinking now. Again, we're going totally this. We hadn't even thought about talking about this. You got a tile pattern. Obviously, it's sheets, so they've got to come together. So what do you do at that intersection?
Depends on what pattern you go for. Some of the patterns they go together like a brick bond. If they're brick bonds, so they go like a castle shape, so they go together like this. Others are overlapped, and they go together different ways. Now, because obviously tiles are straight, and that, as you know, no walls are straight, no corners are straight. When it comes to an external corner, we've got a trim, the same as ceramic tile is used, because we want it to look a bit like ceramic. So it's a sluter trim that goes on the corner. When it goes into an internal corner, we don't thermoform the corners like we do White Rock. We take it into the corner and silicone, so it does look like a a tile job.
What do you do on the joints in the what? Do you weld them?
Silicone,
seal them in.
Down.
Okay, oh, interesting. Maybe we'll get time to have a look at that at some point in the future. Yeah, definitely interested in that. But guys, again, if you're looking for another avenue, something to think about, and again, one of the things that we do here, because we seem to have a lot of people looking for other avenues at the moment, not just floors. We did a course last week or the week before, people branching out into resins and stuff like that. So again, I know it's a business that you guys are in as well, but obviously here we do resins and resin courses. So again, just if you're looking to improve your skills or looking for other areas of business, get in touch with either of us manufacturers, and we've got facilities and avenues you can look at a very, very minimal charge.
Yep.
So, giving something away. So what we decided earlier on today was we were going to give away a 2-day wet room installation course. Okay, so there'll be a half a day on subfloor prep and a day and a half or something like that on wet room installation.
Yep.
So we're going to do that. That'll be free of charge. To enter the competition, just drop an email. No, we're not going to just drop a message in the box, and we'll again select that at random. But can you please put, so we can distinguish from a t-shirt to entering this part of the competition, can you put wet room? Okay, so all you got to do is put wet room, and then Roger's going to ask a question. So put wet room followed by your answer.
Right, and your answer's got to be correct on this one because there's a lot of value in this one. We talked about it earlier about site conditions. Now, hopefully everybody was listening to what me and Steve was saying. Now, what is the ideal temperature that you fit vinyl flooring in? If you get that question right, we'll be seeing you on the course.
And again, you can pick it any time in the year.
Yep.
Yeah, just look on the calendar and we'll sort it out, and then we'll go from there. So good luck with that one. Okay, and yeah, got any more questions? Hopefully everybody's enjoyed that.
Mike's going to
sleep. That's not what I was going to say. But yeah, hopefully everybody's enjoyed that. Again, if you want further advice, obviously the video's still live. We do monitor it. If you want to put a message in later on, it will get checked, and maybe we'll get back to you and answer that. Well, not maybe. We will get back to you and answer that question. And what I'm also going to ask, guys, because we've done about 4 or 5 of these this year, and we've had some great success. But guys, don't be frightened of sending in some topics, some ideas, and stuff that you'd like us to cover. And again, whether it's myself, whether it's Roger, or maybe it's some other manufacturers we've got to get in, or we've all got to work as a team, please, just don't be frightened to drop it in. And again, and if you want to come along and be part of this, yeah, again, just drop us a line and just say be part. Yeah, that's all you got to do. So that's it from me.
Good night from me. That's good night from
I
him.
knew you were going to say that. I wasn't going to. That was corny. Yeah, that was corny. Right, so thanks everybody. Let's turn it off before he comes out with more.
Yeah, thanks everybody.